Hey folks, Jake Baldino here. Today we're going to talk about PS Now because we spent a lot of time talking about how Steam does streaming, how Nvidia has handled it. We've done 2 or more videos about Google Stadia. We've looked at Xbox's cloud streaming. So we figured it was definitely about time to talk about PlayStation's offerings, which are a little bit more complicated. So we're going to dive into all of it, how it works, some of our personal thoughts about it here. And it's a pretty interesting conversation just because, like, whether you like it or not, all these companies are dumping a ton of money into streaming, so we figured we'd at least see what the deal is and check them all out. So join us on our continuing streaming adventure and let's just dive into PS Now. So what exactly is it? It's a paid subscription service that allows you to access hundreds of games on demand. The prices are pretty close to Xbox Game Pass. You can sign up for $10 a month or buy into 3 months for $25 or 12 months at $60, where it would be equivalent to like $5 a month. But to be clear, this is more of an on-demand subscription. You subscribe to access more games. It's not really like an access your games anywhere type of service. You know, no bells and whistles. It's just games, which has pretty much been Sony's MO for console stuff for a while now. Funnily enough, Sony was really early to the streaming game back during the early days of the PS4 news cycle when they announced they purchased Gaikai, which was a cloud gaming streaming company. So really, PS Now has been around for like freaking almost 7 years now. So first of all, sorry we're kind of late on this. There was a lot of hubbub when PS Now did first launch around it being streaming only. You could only stream the games. And even just a few years back, a lot more people had way worse internet connections. So for some people, it was just met with a shrug. But thankfully, now, most of the games you now have access to in your subscription can also be downloaded to your PlayStation. It's pretty seamless and it works well within your PS4 and PS5, and it's obviously a pretty great alternative for people who'd rather not stream a game. If you are streaming, importing a previous save is something you could do too, which pretty much works as you'd expect, and it's nice. Now, when you are streaming, it works pretty simple. The system performs a quick performance check, and then the game boots right up. It doesn't seem like you get too many advantages in terms of load times or anything like that. The games seem to mostly load as they would and perform as they would on a PS4, especially in The Witcher's case. Other than that, though, streaming performed pretty well. Definitely not perfect for us, but that's the same as Stadia and xCloud stuff. It really comes down to your connection, and it can just generally have good days and bad days. And our internet service provider is famously inconsistent, and we still were able to play and have fun. Quality drop-offs didn't feel too harsh, and the control responsiveness is pretty up to par for most games. I mean, we were able to play Bloodborne pretty much with no problem, which actually, believe it or not, is apparently one of the most popular PlayStation Now titles, which, I mean, it makes sense. One thing to note, though, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. If you're a quality purist, these games aren't available to be streamed anything above 1080p, so you're not getting 4K streaming. I know a lot of people don't even have the bandwidth for that, but if you do and you want it, you're not getting it here. So controlling games is fairly responsive and totally usable, but maybe not pro-level stuff or very good for fighting games or first-person shooters. Otherwise, it was decent as long as your frame rate is good. And of course, if you're wired, it's even better. But most people who aren't hardcore aren't really wired usually, and it still manages to perform fine. That's the most important part. The technology is impressive on all platforms, and it seems like it's only going to get better. But again, it comes down to the individual and their situation. You know, your bandwidth, your ISP, wired or wireless, your region. We can only really speak to our experiences here in the home and at the office. Still, we've said it in a lot of videos, we're not the biggest fans of the streaming games concept. We'd rather download them, and it's nice for that, the freedom to do that. We downloaded Red Dead Redemption 2 and a few other things, and it makes the subscription feel really valuable. There's a nice selection of games. Like, of course, you know, with any subscription service, there's a few games where you're like, why is this shovelware even on here? But still, it's got a good offering, especially in terms of just some good PlayStation exclusives. That's where our tolerance for streaming was much higher. It's really fun firing up and streaming older games like Metal Gear Solid 4 or The Darkness or God of War 2 on a whim. You know, it's really just whatever you fancy at the moment, and it's there and you load it up. It could absolutely use some more PS2 games though, just saying. And a bit more of the latest and greatest would be nice, considering you are paying a premium. But the other nice surprise is that PlayStation Now has a PC application. It's super simple, and there's really not much to it. You securely log in, and then boom, there you go. You can still access your saves and add them, no problem, just as you would on the PlayStation app, and you can get going right into something. The interface is really simple and nowhere near as well laid out or as feature-laden as the console version, especially when it comes to features like friends and party functions, but hey, you could do something really cool like fire up God of War and stream that and play God of War on PC, which is very nice. And you can do this on a laptop. You know, the system requirements for this app are really bare bones. So thankfully, most people can take advantage. It's a really good specific use case, you know, especially if you don't have a PlayStation and you just want to experience God of War. Just plug in a controller and either get a trial or a 1-month subscription, and then there you go. You know, it's not the best way to experience the game, but it is completely playable and looks totally fine on screens. And that has been PS Now for us, really. Specific use cases. I really wanted to play Infamous 2, and this was one of the best modern ways to access it. I'm a diehard Metal Gear Solid fan, so every so often I want to replay Metal Gear Solid 4, and I don't want to dig up my big fat PS3, so I just play it through this. It's all totally workable, and although simple, it feels like a good side offering or side choice for PlayStation fans. It's not as integrated into the main flow, the main ecosystem of things, like something like how Game Pass is, but it seems like Sony doesn't feel it needs to. This is different. It's not like a direct competitor, and they're just keeping things straightforward here. On the other hand, we do really love PlayStation Remote Play, which is, you know, streaming your game to your laptop or your phone or your Vita while it's running on your PlayStation. Like, that has been a really fun way to extend play over the years. And with PS Now, these things are pretty much completely separate from one another, where they feel like they should be way more unified. The other thing is it needs more region availability. We have friends and viewers in various big countries where this still isn't available yet. So for some people, it's not even part of the gaming conversation at all. And that's a shame, because PlayStation streaming offering works well, and downloading stuff feels like it makes it a pretty valuable subscription. And in general, it really seems like something like a feature for PlayStation fans that's kind of underrated. I feel like many people are just going to scroll past it or never click on it or ignore it in the store, but it's there and you can use it for some good specific stuff. It doesn't always have insane heavy-hitting brand new games, but when you want to play something specific, it's probably here and waiting for you. Considering Sony doesn't always seem to push this as a massive cornerstone of their gaming stuff, I'm curious to see if that changes, because the foundation is already really solid here. And with the rate gaming is growing, and with the way things are changing every single day, and the way these companies are getting more and more competitive, we're really excited to see what else Sony can do with the technology if they choose to. So there you have it, PS Now. Like I've been saying, it definitely handles things a little bit differently. The approach is different than Xbox or Stadia or any of those other services, and you may think it's antiquated, or it might not be for you, or you're all about it and you're just deep in the PS ecosystem. I definitely want to hear what you think, because it's an interesting conversation, especially for us here, people who aren't really sold on the all-streaming future by any means. Let's talk about it. If you are a subscriber of PS Now, we really want to know what you're thinking, how you use it, how often you use it. Do you use it on your PC? Are you just popping it on your PlayStation 4 or PS5 and streaming? I want to hear from you. Let us know anything you want at all about PS Now in the comments. We'll be down there as much as possible, but you know, clicking the like button also helps us out. We would really appreciate that if you had fun here today. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.